Hello, everyone, guys. Welcome in another live today with another very great photographer, another special photographer and friend. Welcome, Phil. Welcome in this live, in this podcast. And as always, we have an hour to talk with Phil. If you guys have any question, please feel free to type a comment. And welcome, Phil. Welcome. Thank you so
Hey,
much for this hour we can spend together. Okay, first question of the most easiest question that I usually make uh, in the beginning of my interview on my podcast. Who is Phil Penman?
um, yeah, Kaiser. No, I'd say a hard working brunt force photographer that's been doing this a long time.
Yeah, you
Very, very
photographer by all your life.
kind yeah, pretty much all my life. I started when I was 15. I'm pretty competitive in what everything that I do as well. So like I've always wanted to try to be the best, whether it was
You are the best
sports.
photographer in the world. Come on.
Oh God, I wish. You know, like the thing is, there isn't really like a best photographer in the world because there's a lot of great photographers out there. But
Yeah,
it's like I want to be the best that I can be. I want to be happy with what I do.
oh, that's a good philosophy point to start a photographer's career. Guys, keep in mind. And you travel a lot. You make a lot of book. You make a lot of workshop. You do a lot of stuff all together. How can do? How do you can
I,
plan all this stuff together?
it's a lot of work, man. There's a lot of planning as well. So like take like 2026 is already planned. Everything is planned for 26 already, and halfway through 27 is planned already. And it's just you've got to be willing to work hard. I'm up pretty much every day at 5 a.m. working, and then I don't really stop till the evening. And it's just not just working hard, but also you got to work smart as well.
Oh, that's a good point. And for example, you make for example you made some videos regarding how to compose your photography during the street photography, how to you for example mindset yourself to create a picture. And the question is this: when uh, how long and how difficult is it take your time to discover a new places, discover new spot, discover for example new uh, angles, or for example I don't know, maybe uh, now I want to use this particular lens or other lens. What's your idea about this?
To be honest, it comes from what I used to do for a job. So when I was a press photographer most of my life, and every single job that we would do, you're basically working for, say, you're working for an agency, and you're working, I don't know, it's like a feature. You have to imagine that you're selling pictures for every single publication in the world, and so that they can buy them. And every publication is different, and every publication wants different pictures. So you maybe have 30 minutes to an hour to shoot as much as you can with as many different lenses and as many different styles. And it teaches you that you have to be very good at like going into any scene and applying yourself differently. So whenever I see a street scene, there are some like where it's just a quick candid moment and you have like a couple of seconds to get it, and then there are other scenes where like I might spend 1 hour in one location trying to figure out what's a better picture that I can get here, and I will just keep moving around and then trying different lenses, trying to use different layers in the picture to make it more complex. Uh, so basically, you're trying to beat yourself. So you might already have a good picture, and there is a better picture here to get it. Can I see it? Because the thing is, there are great pictures around you right now, everywhere in your room, and it's just whether you're good enough or you're receptive enough to see it.
Oh, that's
And
that's amazing.
photographers, a lot of photographers, they don't want to do that, or they don't want to hear because they've been told by somebody else that this is the way that you do it, and that is the only way. Which is the biggest bunch of BS. It doesn't work like that, and it's other photographers, they're trying to like almost keep you down, and I don't know whether it's intentional or they just unaware that they're doing it. But how would you discover anything new if you just listen to the old all the time? So I'm always trying to figure out like, all right, how can I push my photography forward? I don't want to be that boring photographer that takes the same picture for the next 50 years. Like I would shoot myself in the head if I did that. Like it would destroy me. So I'm just trying to figure out like, okay, well, I can do this. What else can I do?
Okay, that's so interesting because the in your opinion the most important part is don't forget to change your point of view and your approach constantly.
Like, it's well because you're trying to basically everything is trying to improve your muscle memory. So you become faster. And if all you're doing is the same thing, you're not learning anything new. And it might be that you go do a workshop with a fashion photographer, right? And you see how they work, and then you can then say, well, okay, what styles are they doing that I could apply to my street photography? Or you
Oh,
go and work, or you go work with a marketing guy, right? What do they do? Like for me, what I think one of my best lessons. I had a campaign. It was a marketing campaign for a pharmaceutical company, and they had hired me to shoot these pictures for them. And you work with like a creative director, and it was this guy called Eric who was like a very kind of like out there, very creative, wasn't a photographer or anything. And I'm taking the pictures, that I know, and then he was like, "Well, what about this?" And he's just like doing this kind of framing things, and I was like, "Shit, that's really good." Like I didn't think of that, and it was just learning. I learned a lot from him, as in like, all right, don't limit myself in my approach. And
oh,
this was this,
that's
you
amazing
know,
because you suggest to experiment a different point of view from different photography style to improve your photography in
yeah,
your style, in your for example, for you is street, for me is portrait, for other people maybe is the still ill, etc. And
yeah.
that's amazing.
It's like I've heard of like I hear a lot of stuff about teachers, and I had bad teachers in the past. I always say like if you get a teacher and they tell you that it has to be done this particular way, walk away. That's the way that they do it, and it doesn't mean it's the right way. It means the right way for them and how they want to do their photography, but it doesn't mean it's necessarily the right way. There is no. It's subjective. It's all subjective anyway. I learn actually from the people that follow my work as well. So a lot of time you see I put like a pose a question on Instagram, and it's not for engagement. Yes, I like to hear from people. Emojis are nice, but I would rather hear like a comment from somebody saying something about the work. But maybe I'd put up a portrait. I remember once I put up a portrait, and it was a portrait I did of a homeless person, and I used to know a lot of these guys, and I took a few different angles, and someone said, well, I like the one where you're kind of shooting and you're at the same height as him, or you're like a little bit below him, because the pictures when you were standing above, it looks like you're looking down on that person. And then people were writing this in the comments, and you're like, okay, it's interesting that other people, that's how they feel when they see those pictures. So it makes you aware. Like for me, I'm like, okay, if I want someone to feel good, or I want to make them feel better, I will shoot from maybe the same level or underneath them to embolden them.
Oh, that's
So
That's a great advice for improve the photography because usually, in my opinion, usually people thinks a lot of beginner photographers think, okay, I'm street photographer, I'm portrait photographer, I'm, for example, product photographer, etc. I don't need to know how to make a good street photography, and that's wrong because different point of view, different type of composition, different idea of composition, different situation are the most important part of our works, I think.
And we all look at the world differently as well. So we're all going to have a different point of view. I think one of the hardest things as a photographer is, and you see it all the time, like photographers will see someone that's successful and they will copy them because they think that that is going to bring them success. When it's actually worse for you, because if everybody knows who the original photographer is in the first place, they're going to know that you're a copy of somebody else.
Yeah,
And
of course.
how do you make your work stand out? So it's got to be, you got to shoot for you. And I don't want to see a picture that's in my style. I want to see. I'll give you an example. Like we did a competition recently, and I had to judge this competition. And most of the work I was looking at, I was like, okay, well, that's a copy of this photographer. That's a copy of this photographer. I was like, I'm instantly not interested in that work because I know that it's not original and it's not you. So all the ones I was picking was like these color images and maybe a couple of black and white images that no one would normally think I would pick that kind of work. But it was like it was unique and it was different and it wasn't a copy of somebody else.
Oh, I remember regarding this idea, your cover of the streets with the lights and black or white put together of the New York. I think is
It's a color image, but it's so it almost looks black and white, but it's
yeah,
just color dots.
yeah, is
But
an with the people crossing the street with a.
yeah,
I love this image for me. So, how do you find New York City empty without one person? How many times do
you
you
go,
spend?
if you go out in the snow at like 5 a.m., 4 a.m., you don't see many people.
Wow,
It's yeah,
that,
it's
that,
nice.
that, that's important. Good time and the good place. Choose the good time, the right time, and the right place to take the good photo. For you, it's
Yeah.
important to check your spot before take a photo.
Yeah, and the weather. Like we had a snowstorm here, like about a week ago, something like that. And I was out at like 2:30 in the morning. But I looked outside the window and I saw the snow looked really good with the street lights. I was like, wow, shit, I'm gonna go out now because there's hardly anybody's gonna be out there. And the idea I had is I just wanted to shoot the snow with the street lights coming through the snow. So it looked very like magical, almost like abstract art. And I just shot for like 5 or 6 hours in the dark before the light came up. And then I think I maybe shot for another 3 or 4 hours and then I went home. But it gave me different images that I normally wouldn't do.
Usually, big cities like New York, Tokyo, Florence, Rome are full of chaos, full of people that run and spend all time to go from one point to another, and it's surreal find a big city completely empty or almost empty, and is a dystopic version of this city. Like,
Well, it's weird because I used to go out. Like I would never celebrate New Year's Eve. My plan was always to get up at like 5 a.m. on New Year's Day because I knew that the city was going to be pretty much empty because everyone had partied the night before. And you could get some pictures where the streets were completely empty. But then, of course, COVID happens, and most of the streets are empty most of the time.
oh,
So because I was a working news photographer as well, I was going around
capturing New York City during COVID, and yeah, a lot of there were still people, but you could get a lot of streets empty.
Oh, that's amazing because you spend a lot of time to force yourself to get up very early, cover yourself because it's cold. Take your camera. Our camera is so cold because it's metal, and when you put in your hand, it's so cold. and
Yeah,
they,
yeah.
I don't know why, but like it's cold always. My hand is frosted almost the time.
I wish it had like a built-in heater when you
Yes, and
hold it.
I have a gauntlet with
I just
cut
use
fingers.
yeah, I use the heat packs. So I don't even wear gloves anymore. I have heat packs. Well, I have like some gloves that I wear, which is for when it's really heavy, which is like the Valerie ones. I use them, but if it's like not too bad, I keep my hands in the pocket and just the heat packs. And then even when I shoot, I keep the heat pack in my hand
Oh,
when
that's
I'm
a good
when
trick.
I'm, when I'm shooting, and that works. That's pretty good.
Oh, for the also for the batteries because they warm, and
When you're walking, you want to keep the batteries next to your body. So I keep them in like a pocket right next to my chest, and they stay longer because your body heat keeps them warmer.
like I use a lot of batteries. I don't know why. I have three batteries for my SL2 for 1 day of
Yeah,
work, and I
yeah.
don't know why because I don't use a screen. I usually use AVF, but I don't know. It's a very expensive battery costing. Like I hope they solve this problem, this
I,
situation.
th- I think it's in everything though. It's like all technology is like planned obsolescence,
Yeah,
right? Nobody wants a product that's going to last 30, 40 years anymore. Like your iPhone, they make it obsolete after like two or three phones.
yeah,
It's just the way it is now.
yeah.
It's sad. It's sad, but that's the way it is.
Mm. Instead, regarding I saw a lot of your video, and in different video use a different camera, different lens. But so, what's your favorite of all time for your personal work, not for press or other stuff?
The monochrome cameras. So like I had the M10 monochrome and the M11 monochrome. Those
Monochrome.
are the sensor.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
my favorite
mono.
camera. It's just
But
a big camera shoot.
do you usually use a red filter, yellow filter for monochrome, or straight out of camera?
Straight out of camera. When I used to shoot film, I used to experiment with filters a lot. The only filters I use are like neutral density filters, just to kill the amount of light. Because I like to shoot wide open, like fast apertures, and because the shutter speed is only like 4,000, if you're shooting, on a 50 mil 0.95, you're gonna need like a four-stop filter at least on the camera. So I use NDs most of the time.
This guys, that's crazy. 0.95, guys. That's I don't know. how do you how do you use a rangefinder?
You can do it. You can do it.
Wow,
I,
wow,
I, I
wow.
like to make things hard for myself because I know
It's
if you're gonna get a picture that's different. You make it hard for yourself.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. But I usually use a 1.2 for my almost. But I use SL. SL is the most easiest way to manual focus any lens that you want to use. It's super easy, super faster. It's
Yeah.
nah, it's an amazing camera. And but with M series, take a shoot 0.95. It's
It's a lot easier now because you have the EV1. the new camera, and so that you can use that kind of like you use an SL. So it's
with
a lot.
new cameras, not with M10 or M11, especially monochrome.
Yeah, no, with the new camera that they released, the EV1, the MEV1, you can, like, if you have a problem with your eyesight, it's a lot easier to use that camera.
It's
'Cause you,
the Q series with the possibility with change the lens.
exactly. It's yeah. A lot of people they think of it like a Q, but basically it's an M camera with a digital display, basically, like
Yeah,
the Visa,
classic.
like the VisiFlex. I've been using that a lot. So like yesterday I was shooting, I had the EV1 with me and I had the monochrome with me as well.
Yeah.
And then I'll put maybe the 24 mil on my monochrome and maybe the 35 on my EV1 and take my 75 as well and switch it out.
Yeah, it's a new idea of camera by Leica, and I tried this camera when I was in Bologna. Mm, and I for me I love big cameras with nice handling, and for me it's a little bit thin to little too compact for my uh, approach of the camera. Before I use Hasselblad and I need a big camera, and
You're used to the weight as well, right?
yeah, I need to feel the camera, and M in general is a little bit too thin for me, and but it's okay. It's a compact camera. It's for street, it's for hide yourself when you take a picture, and that's all stuff is okay, but it's not for me. I need a big camera. I need a big grip, etc. And instead, regarding your on the question, it's important because a lot of people uh, don't realize how is important the post processing after take a picture, especially with the monochrome, because it's totally different approach for post production.
Hmm.
What do you think? What are your workflow? What your pipeline regarding your take a shot and I go for printing?
It's interesting you say that because a lot of people don't even realize that you don't have a picture until you've exported it. You have no idea how many people I've worked with who they will put their pictures into their library, they will start editing, and then that's it. They don't ever do an export of an image. So they'll have like a 10-year library of basically non-destructive edits, but no final picture. So think of it like you're shooting film, but you never bothered to print the picture. It's the same thing.
Yeah,
So
printing is important, guys.
yeah, printing is like it's the final, like you're going to spend all this money in this camera, you're going to spend all this time on the street, and you can't be bothered to do the final bit, the important bit that people actually see, like the edit and the presentation. It's the final bit that everyone's going to see, and it's like I can look at it and I'm like, that person was just lazy. You know,
Yeah,
they couldn't be bothered. They couldn't be bothered. It's you should be thinking about your edit when you're taking, like, how am I going to present this picture? So it's yeah, I have when I edit, I don't want to do too much because I want to try to get as much of the picture when I'm taking it, and I will still do small things like what I would do in the darkroom or what I used to do in the darkroom to the image, like burning in here and there and maybe lightening certain areas. And I can't stand AI. Like I'm not a fan of the AI and
me too.
what people are trying to do with the editing. I'm not a fan of removing things from pictures. I don't do that either because it's then you're becoming like a curator of, like, you're not photographing what you see, you're curating. So I do my edit and then I do my export, like I create my big TIFF files and then I print it for exhibitions and I print it in books.
and I try to make it look good in the presentation on my Instagram or my social media, Iris, whatever it is. I try to present it well there. So it's it's going to be the full package.
Yeah, that's true. But a lot of people stop themselves because they okay, I'm exporter for Instagram for my social media, but the people don't think the Instagram it's a place, is not photography, it's not a art gallery.
Yeah,
You for example, I take I take like one picture and algorithm start to see the similar pictures that I like it,
yeah.
and that's the algorithm is not what really I love to see, and that is the problem. And the people start to think that's this beauty photography, and other stuff is not good because maybe it's a lot of like, a lot of comments, a lot of sharing, but that's not true. Photography is on the paper, not on the social media or in the.
Social media is purely just like for community, and if you're a photographer, it's marketing. It's I'm using social media to market my work so that I can push you back to where I want you to see my work, and that's either going to my shows, buying my books, coming to workshops, or looking at my website. It's not the social media because then you're, like you said, you're caught in the algorithm, or you're looking at likes. Like I remove likes, like I hide the likes because I don't want people seeing, people like. I want you to like what you want. I'm not interested in that.
Recently, I have a talk with a friend regarding this idea. I want your opinion regarding how to transfer the photography from social media to real world. For example, with the agency, with books, with uh, how to create your own business out of um, social media. And that's a nice question because a lot of people don't do how to do that. For example, how to become a press photographer, how to become a fashion photographer or a teacher, a real teacher, not only for YouTube teacher. In YouTube, we are only teacher. Okay,
Right, right.
YouTube have sense if you really teach something. Teaching is different to make a tutorial. It's true. You know,
I
make
think
a tutorial is simply a start from A point and go for to B point. Teaching is explain how to see, how to improve, how to understand the photography that you seeing. For example, I think you love Cartier-Bresson or Irving Penn or
It's like my go-tos are like Salgado, Elliot Irwin, Arnold Newman. Those are my kind of my go-tos like Bibles. But you look at I look at the work that they were doing back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. Way more creative, way more creative than what we're doing. And I think YouTube has, like, I'm a YouTube addict, but I think that it has a lot to blame for what it's done to a lot of photographers as well, where it's put them in boxes because some YouTuber is trying to get it's remember it's a business, right? They're trying to monetize their channel, okay? And then they will see what someone else has done, and then they will copy the same thing, and then it's regurgitating the same information rather than like experimenting. There are some very good YouTubers out there, like Alex Kilby. I think Alex is great with his channel and how he explains things. But it's like getting people out of these boxes and listening. Like I'm the worst for it when you see like a new phone comes out and every channel is telling you the exact same thing about the phone.
but
It's like,
it's
oh,
business.
It's a business. Like a good teacher should be able to take like any different individual and explain it to each individual differently, because how are they going to understand it? But then also like kind of like I remember once I had to show somebody, and I'm trying to teach him something. I'm like, look, you need to move around. You need to like see things, and he's like, well, this is my picture. This is what I want. This is what I want. I physically grabbed him and moved him, and then I put him there, and there was a film crew was filming it at the time, and he's like, oh man, this is so much better. And I was like, yes, look, like you just need to get out of your own way and just start looking at, even before you even pick up the camera, just like look around and like identify things that you can use.
And and that's the reason, because a lot of people don't realize the camera is only the camera, is only the tools, is not the photography.
This is the tool right there. That's like
Yeah,
that's the thing that matters. Is do you
yeah.
have an eye for a picture? It's a
Yes, the
tool.
picture is from you, not from your camera. And but that's interesting, because all time that I speak like that, with the camera is only a camera, a lot of people answer me, "Hey, but I use a Leica. It's easy." No, 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 it's not true. I use Leica because I like a sensor, I like a camera feelings. I like the less is more.
Yeah,
But I like, if you like Sony, if you like Nikon, if you like Canon, that's the same thing. I can use all type of camera. I use Leica because Leica work well with me, not I work well with Leica.
yeah, exactly. Like I remember people love to hate whenever we were posting videos about the new camera. You would get people that would say, "Well, oh, okay, why don't you use the Sony? Why don't you use this?" And it's like, because I don't like 100 buttons on my camera. That's why it's like it's more stuff that's getting in the way of me taking my picture. I want less, and I don't have to go and spend tons of money. This is the like the thing that people like they don't get it. They can't get it into their heads. It's when you're with photography. Okay, there's new cameras like every single year. Okay, there's no magic camera. It's like, okay, does the camera feel good to me? When I'm using the camera, I want it as simple as possible. My ISO, shutter speed, aperture, that's all I use. I don't care about any of the other stuff. It's the lenses, all right? That's what I want. Is I want lenses that are going to give me a certain kind of look. And you don't have to go and spend a lot of money. It might be that you want to go and buy a vintage lens that costs $300 or $300. You put it on your camera and it's going to give you a certain look. It might be that you want to go and spend $15,000 on a lens because that lens is going to give you a certain kind of look. But you're paying for the look. There's an interesting point. I don't know if you know who Adam Lazil is. He's head of Instagram. He put a post the other day, and he was saying the biggest battle with Instagram at the moment is like identifying what is AI and what is real. And he was saying the camera manufacturers have got it wrong. In the future, it's going to be people are going to be searching for things that look real, not if it looks too professional and it looks too perfect, like edge to edge sharpness. People are going to identify, or they're going to be critical, and that they're going to think that it's AI. So you're going to find people are going to be trying to find lenses or cameras, like film cameras, stuff that looks more real. Like there are
Yeah,
defects. It doesn't look perfect. That's what I
that's
prefer.
the brutal truth. People want to get back to real. Photographers want to get back to real, the real stuff, the real photography, the real feeling. Personally, I love a vintage look in my lens. But if I attack in my or in your SL series a new lens, is super sharpened, super defined, super. Uh, this camera reflect a lot the lens character, in my opinion. and that is the cool stuff.
Yeah, for me, like the SL lenses for me were like a little bit too perfect. Like they're too edge to edge. I would use the SL. I actually have an SL3, but I use it with the old the S lenses, the medium format lenses. And those
Never
are,
try.
try those. Those are beautiful.
Yeah.
It's very very sharp in the middle where you want, like, say you want the eyes very very sharp, but then it's like this beautiful creamy fall off bokeh. Uh, if you can try those. They discontinued all the lenses, so if you can find them, get them because they're cheaper. But you have to buy an adapter to be able to put them on. But I
Oh,
have a whole four of them.
I always use adapter because I use all M lens or manual lens. For me, I never attach in this camera autofocus lens. Never. I don't like autofocus.
Yeah, you know what? It's like I think like some camera systems they can do autofocus really well, you know, but they've been doing it for a long, long time. For me, if I screw up the picture, I want to own it. I want to screw it off rather than if the camera screws it up because the autofocus didn't work properly or it goes to the wrong part of the image. Then I get angry at the camera. So I
I
prefer
think
to do everything.
I think if I come back to autofocus, probably I switch all the reflex like D5 or D6. Not mirrorless camera. It's too because I don't have any control with wide open lens or shallow depth of field. I I I need to control every single moment what's happening in my frame. Autofocus follow the logic of the camera.
Yeah.
Track a subject and take a focus. But maybe I don't want the subject of focus. Maybe other stuff in focus, and a little bit out of focus my subject because the story is different. And
Mhm.
if you follow the same logics, usually we make the same exactly picture as a YouTube light teacher. Hey, use HSS. Hey, use ND filter. Hey, use a flash in the sunlight. I saw a lot of picture really, really boring. Not because it's boring like a picture, because is make just a virtuosism, just I don't know, uh, to take to tell the people, hey, I can do that. But photography is not that. Photography for me is uh, find your right way to tell your story with your favorite lens, favorite friends, favorite place. You went from Tokyo, and Tokyo is an amazing city, in my opinion, to create a lot of kind of picture. But it's true, maybe it's so much situation to photograph, and it's difficult to show. I don't know. I never visited Tokyo yet.
For some, it's interesting because some areas can feel like just if you're not good with tight spaces and lots of people, it may be not the same thing because it's very intense. But at the same time, it's very calming as well because everything's very organized and it's very orderly. It's not like everyone's running to try to get onto the train. Everything's very, like I said, very organized. But then, like, if you want quiet, they have all the temples and the parks and everything. It's definitely my favorite city outside of New York at the moment to go to. I've been going every year for the last few years. Uh, I love the style there, like the fashion that people wear as well. Like they're very creative in what they wear. I like anyone that like tries to be individual, like to express their own unique style. I love that, and it doesn't matter. Like for me, the older ladies in Rome, I love because they're like their sunglasses that they wear. They put the teenagers to shame.
Yeah,
You know, they have better style than the teenagers, and I'm like,
Yes, it's true. It's true.
they're making you look terrible. So like I like to photograph people like that, or like the older Parisian men, that like dress up. I love that as well. In
Rome
Tokyo.
is a is a very particular city because, in my opinion, the from Rome is unique.
Oh, yeah, it's stunning, absolutely
Yeah,
stunning.
hard light, ash light, as always, all time, all days, and it's it's regarding like the situation in Rome is so interesting experience in my opinion. I work a lot in Rome. Like, I make a lot of stuff in Rome, and it's my favorite city to take a photo. Milan
Yeah,
is a little bit different. It's more foggy days, more flat and light. It's different. Rome is always ash, always hard light, all times. The color of Rome is unique, and the food of. I hope you like Italian food, man.
yeah. We, I, I love Rome. I love Naples. Milan, I haven't really spent much time. I literally spent like one day there when it was there, Giro d'Italia, years ago. I was there. But I'll be in Milan in May, and then I'll be in Rome in May as well. Coming out.
Another city that I think you can like is Florence. It's full of
Yeah,
art.
I was in Florence, but we were there for like probably 2 days, and there was so many tourists. It was just too much. It was like, are there any Italians here? It was like that, and I think I would just need to go there at the right time of year. It's like going to Rome in like uh, May onwards. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's so busy with tourists. But if you go there like no, January, it's beautiful. It's quiet. You can walk around freely. I enjoy it.
It's so chaotic city in the street, in the underground. That's there are a lot of spots. For me, is 35 city.
Okay.
For me, Rome is perfect with 35.
Yeah. I always got like a couple though, because I'm always like, oh, I wish I had my 75, or I wish I had a 135 with me. There's a beautiful shot like from the of Piazza del Popolo from the up on the hill looking down.
Oh,
Like
from the stairs.
yeah, but you want to use like the park above the steps, and you make a left and you head along and you're up by the park and you look down on Piazza del Popolo, and you have like these beautiful tight shots with the statue and people. So I'm always mixing up my lenses as well. So I'll have my 35 and a 75 with me. If I know that I'm going out and I'm going to be spending a whole day just taking pictures, and it's expressly just for shooting, then I'm going to have my 24, my 35, my 75, and my 135 with me.
Usually, you have two camera.
Usually,
I, uh,
yeah.
I I saw a few of your videos. You have SL and M in your body and in your hand.
Yeah, in the snow, like the other day, I had a Q with me. I had my M in my plastic bag underneath my jacket because I don't want to destroy my camera, and then I had my SL. But generally, if the weather is okay and there's no rain, I will probably have either a Q and an M with me, or two M.
You use a Q also?
I use a Q because if it rains, if I'm out and it starts raining, I have to put my M in my bag, and then I can use the Q because it's fine in the rain.
But 28 or 43?
43.
I want to monochrome 43. I need one.
Yeah, 43 monochrome would be nice. I never wanted that 28 because it's like I think it's a 25. It's not a 28. It's so wide for most things. It's just too wide for me.
Me too. 28. I love 28 lens. I really appreciate. And we talked before. Alan usually use 24. It's very wide, and he usually go very close to people, very close to the subject, and that's cool. But for me, is not my comfort zone to take a picture. Is to near the subject. I need to come. And the 28, I prefer use for the uh, little spot, little rooms, little hotel cameras. 28 is good for this, for my work, for my style, work for this situation, not
Okay.
for street. I prefer 35 or 50 millimeter. It's my
Yeah.
favorite. 75, 85 I use in the past, but now my main lens is 50. 15 1.2 always. I
One of,
love.
one of the one of the cool things though with the series, you have the macro. So I use the macro a lot, especially if I'm doing like portraits and they have like maybe a cool piercing or like a tattoo. I'll use the macro to do like ultra close pictures.
Yes, instead in the Leica I use a helicoid focusing adapter, and you can reduce the minimum focal point, and you can create a nice close up with with 15 millimeter, and so it's not macro, but it's very nice uh, depth of field or distortion regarding the typical distortion of 15 millimeter. And it's so creative. It's so nice. I don't usually a lot. I don't use usually a lot, but I like it. And my workflow usually is so simple. My camera, me, and what I want to tell for my personal work. I stopped using a lot of light, a lot of flashes. For most of my career, I use a lot of flashes with Assemblac, especially.
Yeah, it's interesting because I know like a lot of cinematographers as well. They went from using 20 lights to like maybe 3 lights.
Yeah.
You know, but the better you get with lighting, the less you need. Or you understand light better. You know.
Yes. Yes. More you advance in your career, more experience you do, less stuff that you need to make your picture. In my opinion, for photography, regarding cinema, regarding other stuff is not the same thing. But for photography, for example, I talked some times ago with Peter Coulson.
Yeah.
He was here as you, and regarding the light, he said the same exact thing. I usually start by one light, using one light, and a lot of time I'm finish my works just one light, because what I can focus myself better, not for the technical aspect of the light, but how my subject reacts, and
Yeah.
my
More,
works is with
more
the subject,
can
not
go
with the
wrong.
light.
Yeah. Yeah. More things can go wrong as well. Like if you unless you have like an assistant and you have a good assistant who is they're just worrying about the lighting and the computer and the laptop and everything, and you can just focus on taking pictures. But if you're having to worry about the lighting, covering everything, it's too many headaches. And if you look stressed, then the actor or whoever you're working with, they feel that you are stressed, and then they are stressed, and then you don't get good pictures.
Yeah, that's true. Personally, I approach, for example, my street photography in the same exactly mindset. I mean, when I like go alone, take my time, take my picture, and I find a nice subject. But in Italy, I don't know, but in Italy, people don't like when someone take a picture, and I develop my from a shoot technique with a silent shot, and I in the and that's cool because if you want to take a good picture, with this technique, with 30 millimeter at 1.2, you practice a lot. It's difficult, and when
Yeah.
you finally learn this technique, it's so easy because you simply take around uh, uh, your eyes. Hey, that's a nice subject. Tac.
Yeah.
And in studio, the same thing. I personally don't check never the focus. My camera is just in focus. I simply talk with the subject, have a nice cup of tea. For example, he play an instrument, you can play, or something like that. Easy, most easiest ways possible to bring the subject in the right comfort zone, in the right mental state, in the right not posing, not force posing, not force a smile. And that's my photography. That's I love my photography. And without any practice by street photography, I can do what I'm doing now, and that's cool. And that's cool
Yeah.
because
No, I don't. I think it's. I don't like the forced portraits, especially on the street. I like people to be who they are. A lot of the time, like you want people to be relaxed. I chat with people. I ask them questions about themselves, and like I try to keep it very relaxed. But I don't want them. I don't want them to force them to do too many poses.
yeah, me too.
You know,
I don't like
I
force poses.
yeah, I like them to try to relax a little bit.
Yeah. For example, I like to talk with my subject. It's the most important part of my job. When I take, for example, portrait for a company or for example, people that I want. Uh, I don't know. In the past, I think the portraiture is just portraiture. Photography is not have any uh, other inspiration. Instead, and that's nice because I follow you for a long time and you inspire me a lot. I check all your site. I love your site. I love your prints. I love your uh, we talking about before Twin Towers. The mindset behind the struggling moment, like people run, people scream, rocks, dust, and you charge straight off the. I don't know how to define that situation because it's
Yeah, you're not really thinking. That's the problem. It's like
with the
the
dust
thing.
in your lens, dust in your all camera, all dusty. The hair is not. You can breathe. The is I think is a I don't know the smell. It's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
No, it's not. It's not for everybody. That's for sure. And it's still very vivid in my mind as well. That day,
Yeah,
it's still very, very clear.
but
Like I remember most things.
do you remember that day?
Oh yeah, very vivid. You know, it's in my brain most of the time. Um,
Because I because the point is maybe you live near the center of the ground zero, maybe not, and it's difficult to take your car or take
I
and
was probably Yeah, I was probably living about 30 to 40 blocks away. But I just jumped on my bicycle and just as soon as I saw the TV, I just jumped on my bicycle, rode down as quickly as I could to get down there, and
oh,
then
that's nice. A lot of photographer, a famous photographer was here in New York when happens. For example, Steve McCurry, Joe McNally, you, I think, I don't know, maybe Salgado. I don't know if Salgado makes something.
I never saw anything from him. I
I,
there was certain photographers, like I'd say James Natway, he had some of the good. There were like basically there were like probably a handful of us that had like the pictures that most people have that they remember, like Shannon Stapleton, a friend of mine. He had a very famous picture. So there were a lot of people photographing it, but then there were certain photographs that people remember more, and
Yes,
it
you
might
take
just
a lot of picture regarding the fireman's go and all full of dust and wow, it's not easy to penetrate this area. It's amazing.
yeah. Like my friend, a friend of mine, Spencer Platt. He probably had the picture that was seen around the world the most, and that was the impact, the second strike on the tower. He was walking across Brooklyn Bridge, shooting with a longer lens, and he had that picture. But he didn't go to the site. He went straight to the agency where he was working, Getty, because you have to wire the picture. You have to get the picture moving for the rest of the world. So he went straight there, and his picture was probably on like 40 front covers the very next day.
Wow.
It's still one of the most iconic shots of that day, I think. And then Joel Meyerowitz, Joel had like the kind of like not the day, but he had the aftermath. He was one of the photographers that was given access that nobody could get to get a photograph. And then by knowing the right people, because none of us were allowed to go back. Once you left that area, the police blocked everything off because it's a crime scene.
Oh,
You're not allowed to be walking around there because it's a crime scene.
wow.
And so once they blocked it all off, you had to leave, but like maybe your camera batteries ran out and you didn't have any more. So Joel was, I think, very lucky in the fact that he knew the right people that he was able to go and be able to photograph the aftermath.
I
For
don't know.
me,
I don't know if he take a picture by from helicopter or long distance lens, 60 millimeter,
oh,
something like that. I don't remember the exactly, but I remember they made this particular picture with a lot of compression of the tower, and I
oh,
think they for another palace, for another near the crime scene.
well, there's a famous shot. I can't remember who took it. With the Empire State in the foreground, it's shot on a very long lens, and you have the Empire, and you have the towers coming down in the background.
You can see in there the okay. I don't know New York how it's built.
I remember somebody shot that picture. I can't remember who that was though, but there was probably where I was. There weren't that many of us because the tower came down like right in front of me, and
Wow.
uh, so I'm photographing the tower coming down in front of me, and then of course you couldn't see anything because of the dust. And then
But
there was a few of us photographing, and then the area where we were was the only area where any survivors were coming out, the people that were covered.
uh, it's difficult to talk about this stuff. Man, I respect you for your hard stomach, how we say in Italy. It's a very
I think it was just young, like just stupid. Like it gets me every year, and I get emotional every year about it. But it took me 2 years before I could talk about it. Like I just couldn't discuss it. And then slowly, like to be honest, like doing talks, podcasts, and stuff, I have become. It's become a lot easier now to discuss as well. And then also because you want to keep it in people's memories as well. You don't want those that were lost
yeah,
to be
yeah, yeah.
forgotten.
This is super important. Keep the memories and uh, uh, take care the photographer like you. Uh, take a picture of this particular moment of the world, because all world is changed after
Oh yeah.
Ground Zero. And
Yeah.
but if I think, okay, I must to go near the disaster, near the tower are falling down, with the people who scream and run, and I'm scared, and I take a picture, the right picture, not the simply tourist picture. I need to focus what I'm doing. I need to focus of the moment exactly I take. Is a lot of stuff to put together in the same time. And did you make a wonderful photo because you tell the exactly story with smoke.
I think it's more like muscle memory. Like
Oh,
it's just muscle memory. You're just going into autopilot because you're so, I guess, in the moment of where you are and shooting, and you're not even really thinking about like the types of pictures. Yes, I'm identifying people that are coming towards me, but it's very quick. Like you're thinking about, you're not overthinking anything. You're just shooting because you realize that you don't know. You might have 10, 15 minutes to get it. You might have 30 minutes to get it, or you might have to get lead straight away.
oh, okay.
You're just shooting as much as you can.
Okay, guys, after this so deeply and important part of this live, we go for the end because 1 hour is just passed. We
Yep.
and Phil, thanks for joining with me. I hope to see you soon. I hope to talk again another in another podcast. Thanks a lot to join this podcast, guys. And we see in the next interview. If you want, you can find this interview in my YouTube channel. And guys, thank you a lot for joining this live. Phil, thanks a lot. We see another
Very
live, guys,
welcome.
and have a nice day and see you soon. Hey.
Ciao.